It is essential to be up to date on happenings around you, and to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Freshlight, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio.
Okay, it's another beautiful morning from this side of the radio, Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. It is the 7th day of the 7th month of year 2023, and we're glad that 7 means completion, that all that concerns us will be completed, inshallah, in Jesus' name. Okay, I don't know the one for the Babalawo. After saying Jesus' name, inshallah.
OLUWAFISAYOMI, is it? I don't know. But today is also a significant day in my hometown. Today is a Yam Festival Day in our hometown.
Wow, and you didn't tell us to even do this broadcast in your hometown. We will have taken a day to go and eat yam.
That's why we do call it 7-7.
7. That means we're going to eat 7 yams?
No.
Funded by 7 virgins?
Yes, that is it.
Okay, welcome to Freshlight. I am OLUWAFISAYOMI AJIBOLA.
And I am RISQAT FUNMILAYO. Thanks for joining Freshlight this morning.
Okay, this morning we will be parading 5 newspapers, which includes The Nation, The Sun, Daily Trust, Vanguard, and Punch newspaper. One after the other, we will save you the stress of flipping through these newspaper pages and take details of what this paper looks like one after the other. Starting from The Sun, let's look at what the cover page of The Sun is like.
Okay, on the Daily Sun newspaper, starting from the bold headline, Federal government suspends telecoms tax, customs tariff. President signs 4 executive orders. NASEMA, CPPE, orders hail Tinubu. You can find this story on the page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Fuel import Nigeria losing $2,000 per barrel. All marketers says. Kaduna anti-graft body invitation to Ganduje over alleged dollar videos raises dust. APC kicks. Yeah, page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper captured the story. President yet to draw list of ministers, special advisors, says this. You can find this story on the page 28 of this Daily Sun newspaper. APC supporters storm EU office over report on 2023 election. IPAC, we are studying report, we respond in 2 weeks. You can find these 2 stories on the page 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. I will solve security challenges. This is coming from Tinubu. Pledges to address welfare funding, equipment, other constraints faced by military. Page 6 captured this story. Asset declaration, court grants Kyari 50 million naira bail. You can find this story on the page 4 of the Daily Sun newspaper. So these are many more stories you are going to find on the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. And going into the details of the story.
Okay, Tinubu signs executive orders. President Bola Tinubu yesterday signed 4 executive orders as part of efforts to address manufacturers' concerns bordering an inconducive operating environment in the country. This is as he assured Nigerians there would not be further tax rates without robust and wide consultations undertaken within the context of a coherent fiscal policy for framework. The President's Special Advisor on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, disclosed this yesterday while addressing State House correspondents in Abuja. Tinubu signs executive orders. That is found on the Sun newspaper. Also, to announce new date for national consensus. President Bola Tinubu is to announce new date for the National Populations and Housing Census that was postponed in April. This is as he has expressed disappointment with the delay in conducting national census 17 years after it was conducted in 2006. The president, who expressed his unwavering support for the National Population Commission (NPC) to conduct an accurate population and housing census in the country, however, stressed the need for data integrity. Daily Sun has that story with the headline, to announce new date for national census.
My government is ready to eliminate all of Nigerian security challenges. This is coming from the President President Tinubu. Yesterday, he said his government was conscious of the security situation in Nigeria and ready to address all the concerns of citizens on this issue. He stated this during the closing ceremony of the 2023 Nigerian Army Day celebration and 160th anniversary of Nigerian Army yesterday in Ibadan. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, he assured Nigerians of his government resolve to address all threats and care of national security challenges confronting the country within the shortest possible time. He said in his administration would continue to do all it could and permitted by the Constitution to ensure the safety of law-abiding citizens and the nation's unity. To read more of this story, you can go to the Daily Sun newspaper this morning. It has this headline, my government ready to eliminate all of Nigerian security challenges.
INEC commences prosecutions of Adamawa wreck next week. Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has revealed that it would commence the prosecutions of the Resident Electoral Commission (REC) Adamawa State, Undu Yunus Ahari, in line with the Electoral Act 2022 next week. The commission rose from its regular weekly meeting yesterday and resolved to file a 6-count charge against him at the Adamawa State High Court sitting in Yola. INEC commences prosecution of Adamawa REC next week. Daily Sun has it. And lastly on Daily Sun, before moving to another newspaper, protesters storms EU office over report on 2023 general elections. A pro-Tinubu group yesterday grounded activities at the European Union office in Abuja to demand withdrawal of its report on the 2023 general elections it submitted recently. The group specifically warned that the EU report was capable of setting the country ablaze and emphasized that the protest is to register unequivocally their dissatisfactions with the report. Protesters storms EU office over to report on 2023 general elections. The Sun has the details.
Moving to another newspaper this morning, we are moving to Daily Trust newspaper. Tinubu suspends 5% telecom, vehicle import taxes and others. Issue 4 executive orders, defers Finance Act. Others will moderate inflation, MAN and others. Center 6 electricity tariff, food price regulation. All these stories, you can find it on the page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. 1.5 million girls enrolled in 6 northern state schools in 10 years. This is UNICEF. Dollar videos. APC kicks as anti-graft agencies summons Ganduje. You can find this on the page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Scrambled for committee hot up as Akpabio. Abbas compile list. You can find this on the page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Police to play football match with repentant thugs in Kano. You can also find this on the page 16 of the Daily Trust newspaper. INEC files charges against suspended Adamawa REC. You can find this on the page 11 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Senate probes Abuja Kano Airport concession by Buhari's government. These are many more stories you are going to find on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And going into the details of the story.
Scramble for committees hot up as Akpabio Abbas compile list. 2 days after the emergence of the principal office in both Senate and House of Representatives, lawmakers in both chambers have intensified lobbying for chairmanship of committees, Daily Trust report. The Senate leader Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele APC Ekiti had on Tuesday told reporters that the Red Chamber will constitute special and standing committees before the end of July. Ramidele has said with the emergence of the majority and minority caucus, which makes up the principal officers, they will hit the ground running. Scramble for committees hot up as Akpabio Abbas compile list. Daily Trust is reporting that this morning. Also on Daily Trust, 10th Senate, we will not rubber stamp anything for executive. The senators representing Nedo South, Neda Imosin, has promised that the 10th Senate will not be a rubber stamp to the executive arm of government, noting that the opposition senators will only work for the growth and development of the country. Addressing journalists in Abuja on Thursday, following the emergence of the principal officers of the Senate, Imosin said that new Senate will be a corrective one and would partner with the executive to deliver the goods for Nigerians. 10th Senate, we will not rubber stamp anything for executive. Imosin is saying this on Daily Trust.
Now moving to Kano State this morning, anti-demolition protest breaks out in Kano. Hundreds of protesters on Monday hit Kano streets to express their displeasure with the ongoing demolitions exercises of the state government. The government premised its action on the grounds that the land upon which the affected structures were erected were illegally allocated by the immediate past government. The structures already demolished include the multi-billion naira project at the old Daula Hotel shopping plaza at the Polo Ground and on the Yield Ground, while residential and commercial buildings have been marked for demolition at Salanta area and Book Road. While the government had insisted there is ongoing back in the resolve to restore Kano Urban Development Master Plan, which include removing structures erected on public spaces, the protesters that hit the streets earlier Monday demanded that the government rescind its decision. We poster like, Governor Yusuf, your action is sending away investors. Don't bring insecurity to our state, Mr. Governor, and let the law take its course, among others. The protesters, after converging at the demolished Daula Hotel, proceeded to police headquarters to register their grievances. To read more of this story, you can pick Daily Trust this morning. It has this headline: Anti-demolition protest breaks out in Kano.
I wish Tambuwa took my position, not me, but the new minority leader. The new Senate minority leader, Simon Duhak Mado, has said that he wished his immediate past governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwa, emerged as the minority leader instead of him. Mwakwo stated this during a chat with Arise TV on Thursday on issues regarding his emergence, adding that he respected the former House of Representatives Speaker. I wish Tambuwa took my position. New minority leader is saying this. And lastly, on Daily Trust, before moving to another newspaper, APC non-serving senators commend Akpabio. APC non-serving senators have commended Senate President Godswill Akpabio for his exemplary efforts in constituting the leadership of the 10th Senate. Convener of the group, Senator Basha Lado, said in a statement yesterday that the strategic opposition reflects a remarkable display of leadership, inclusivity, and commitment to overall progress, welfare of our great nation, Nigeria. APC non-serving senators commends Akpabio. Daily Trust is reporting this.
Picking another newspaper on the Freshlight this morning, I'll be moving to the Nation newspaper and starting from the bold headline: Tinubu suspends key tax measure to ease hardship. Presidency explains for executive orders. No tax raise without consultation. Chidoka urges Mesoma to come clean. Ex-minister ready to plead. Page 6 of the Nation newspaper captured this. Shetima army to get full support in terrorism battle. UTME top performer get varsity scholarship. You can find these two stories on the page 6 of the Nation newspaper. INEC files 6-count charge against Adamawa Rec. page 5 captured the story. Why president is meeting opposition figures by Alake. You can also find this on the page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Banks abandon uniform ATMs, OTC transaction policy. These are many more stories you are going to find on the Nation newspaper this morning. And going into the details of the story.
Why president is meeting opposition's figures by Alake. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's meeting with opposition's figure is in line with his decisions to run an open government. His special advisor on special duties, communications and strategy, Dele Alake, said yesterday. Anything Ayim and former People's Democratic Party PDP Publicity Secretary Olisa Mentu was to commend the president for the step he has taken so far. He praised them for their courage and sincerity and criticized some opposition leaders who have failed to recognize the president's efforts. Why president is meeting opposition figures by Alake. Tinubu suspends key tag mayor to ease hardship. To boost manufacturing and ease of doing business, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday signed 4 executive orders. According to them, the need to respect the international best practice of giving a 90-day window to investors before new taxes are introduced also brought into the EUs. The officials explained that the federal government will not raise taxes until after robust consultation with stakeholders. Okay, Tinubu suspends key tax measures to ease hardship. That is on the Nation newspaper this morning.
Still on our president's story, Tinubu also blames poverty. Tinubu blames poverty, unemployment for rural-urban migration. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said increasing population in the urban centers across the country emanated from extreme poverty and unemployment in the rural areas. The president pledged his support for commission to conduct an accurate census. It was gathered that the president will pick up new dates for national population and housing census that was postponed last April. A statement by the president's special advisor on special duties, communication and strategy, Mr. Dele Alake, said President Tinubu emphasized the need for NPC to prudent in its assignment and work towards producing census data that will be credible and reliable. The statement said the president expressed concern over the delay in conducting a census since the last one in 2006. He said, and I quote, "It is disappointing that up to now we have not been able to conduct another enumeration of our people. I hope this delay will be converted to a great opportunity in this electronic and digital age." To read details of this story, you can go to the Nation newspaper. It has this headline: Tinubu blames poverty, unemployment for rural-urban migration.
Okay, still on our president, who is dominating virtually all newspapers this morning. Tinubu vows to reduce security challenges to barest level within shortest time. President Bola Tinubu yesterday promised to intensify the anti-terror wall and safeguard the safety of Nigerians at all times. The president spoke at the grand finale of the Nigerian Army Day celebration, NADC 2023, with the team. Sound administrations are exponential for effective military operations. The event was held at the Major General Integral Sports Complex at Ekule Fajiri Cantonment, Ibadan, Oyo State. Tinubu vows to reduce security challenges to barest level within shortest time. And lastly, on the Nation newspaper, before going for a commercial break and then come for other newspapers, Twitter threatened to sue Meta over threads. Twitter is threatening to file a suit against Meta for launching Thread, a copycat social media platform launched by Instagram on Wednesday. In a cease and desist letter sent to Meta, Twitter alleges that the social media behemoth pushed its employees to create Thread, which is a typical replica of Twitter. In the letter sent to Meta, CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Twitter lawyer Alex Spiro accused the company of engaging systematic, willful, and unlawful misappropriations of Twitter's trade, secret, and other intellectual property. Twitter threatened to sue Meta over threads. The Nation is reporting that. Have you registered on Thread?
Yes,
Everybody is joining bandwagon. Okay, we'll go for a commercial break. When we'll come back, we'll look at other newspapers we have.
Thousands have been disappointed severally in their bid to see greener pasture abroad. To those quack in the traveling agency business, it is a rocket science. That is not our case at Tausaf Travels and Tour. We have in-depth details on how to successfully, without stress, help you process and secure your visa to anywhere in the world. Do you want permanent residential visa, visiting and tourism visa, student visa to places like Asia, Africa? It's no big deal to us at Tausaf Travels and Tour. Our years of experience and expertise speaks volume for us. Let's process and secure visa for you to UK, USA, and Canada. We offer Hajj and Umrah services to our Muslim faithfuls. What are you waiting for? Consult us at number 9 Tausaf Central Mosque, Sholanke Street, behind Laroy Hotel, Abiola Way, Abeokuta. 0802 733 0900 or 0806 578 4060. Stop wasting money. Pay for peace of mind. Talk to Tausaf Travels and Tour.
tó fẹ́ wọṣọ yìí ṣoge tó bágbà mu ló ń kọjá lọ sí House of Zion. House of Zion, the name I know when we talk of top-notch fashion, quality materials and cloth. House of Zion wears Egypt and Malaysia cloth designer bags lóríṣiríṣi, àwọn tẹ̀lẹ̀ bàtà tó jiná tí wọ́n fa wọ̀ original ṣe, àwọn aago wákàtí ọjọ́, designer sunglasses and perfumes, pẹ̀lú àwọn gbogbo nǹkan tóbìnrin àsìkò fi ń gbafẹ́ lò gbà. Mo dé bẹ́ẹ̀ ojú mi ń ṣe kámi èmi ni ó rà èmi ni ó mú. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin mùsùlùmí ẹlẹ́sìn tẹ́ gbòógì gbọ́n pa fashion tẹ́ wá nílò jàlábíà hijab àti àbúríṣiríṣi. House of Zion lẹ́ọ̀ ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀ rà. House of Zion wà ní 52 Ọlọ́run ṣògo road adjacent Redeemed Church Agape Parish Ọlọ́run ṣògo Instagram House of Zion 08156888618. House of Zion ilé tá a ti ń tojúlówó aṣọ àti nǹkan aṣaralóge tí ń gbéni níyì. Gbogbo aláfẹ́ tún.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. Still on Freshlight this morning, and we are moving to Vanguard newspaper. CBN warns bank over Russia-Iran-Cameroon transaction. Kano Anti-Graft Agency invites Ganduje over alleged dollar video. Presidency explained Tinubu's meeting with opposition figures. You can find this on the page 8 of Vanguard newspaper. Federal government confirmed 789 diphtheria cases, 80 deaths in 8 states. You can find this on the page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Sit at home, security operatives in show of force. Page 5 captured this story. Tinubu suspend Finance Act, halt 5% excise tax on telecoms. INEC files 6 counts charge against suspended Adamawa rec. Page 8 captured the story. Student loan, don't hike tuition fee. Reps warn tertiary institutions. Page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper captured this story. Electricity manufacturers kick against use of $155 million World Bank loan for meter import. Page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper captured this story. Insecurity, troops kill 51 terrorists, bandits, ESN militants in firefight. And we also have women in World Cup Wedrum asks NFF for FIFA's $960,000 for Super Falcons preparation. And you can find this on the sports page of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a column We have columnist Donu Azu Adekoya on the page 16, page 22, and page 18 of the Vanguard newspaper. So these are many more stories you are going to find on the Vanguard newspaper. And going into the details of this page or the story.
Tinubu suspends Finance Act, alt 5% excise tax on telecom. In a bid to curb multiple taxations, as complained by cross-sections of Nigerians and the business community, President Bola Tinubu has signed 4 executive orders, which include the suspensions of 5% excise tax on telecommunication services, as well as the excise duty escalations on locally manufactured products. To read details of that, pick up a copy of Vanguard newspaper. Tinubu suspends Finance Act, alt 5% excise tax on telecoms. Okay, lastly on Vanguard newspaper, before moving to our last newspaper, which is Punch. Nigerian practicing plutocracy, not democracy. Human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana has lamented that plutocracy has replaced democracy in Nigeria, the effect of which is that people have lost confidence in democratic process. Falana stated this in a keynote address titled General Elections in Nigeria 2023, a review of the nation's political culture and electoral integrity, and delivered a 2023 Law Week program of the Nigerian Bar Association MB Benin branch held in Benin City, Edo State. Nigeria practicing plutocracy, not democracy. Falana.
Picking our last newspaper on Freshlight this morning, we are landing on the Punch newspaper. Rising inflation, private sector demands more waivers as Tinubu suspend taxes. INEC files 6-count charges against Adamawa Rec. The Punch newspaper punches this out this morning. Chidoka urges Mesoma to come clean. Ex-minister ready to plead. These are many more stories we are going to find on the Punch newspaper this morning, and going into the details.
Okay, the last story on this paper this morning, Punch. Rising inflation. Private sector demands more waivers as Tinubu suspend taxes. The organized private sector on Thursday welcomed the tax suspension announced by President Bola Tinubu, noting that they showed the federal government was sensitive to the challenges facing businesses and citizens. The private sector operators, however, pointed out that tax suspensions were inadequate to curb rising inflation and other microeconomic headwinds threatening the survival of many local businesses. To read details of that lengthy but happy story to businesses in Nigeria, rising inflation, private sector demands more waivers as Tinubu suspends taxes. On that note, we say thank you for listening to Freshlight. Do join us again tomorrow to be our guest as we take fresh headlines coming out from the newspapers on Freshlight. I remain OLUWAFISAYOMI, AJIBOLA. Good morning.
And I am RISQAT FUNMILAYO. Thanks for joining.